What's up guys, I'm Leo Zombie, and on this episode of Touchables, we're going to be playing Star Wars Commander by Disney and Lucasfilm. Because you know I love me some Star Wars. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to optimize your defensive and offensive game to take over the Empire, or crush the rebellion, whatever you're into. Either way, let's go. So the first thing you guys are going to notice is that my base is actually quite developed. I'm actually already at level 5. So this is not what it looks like when you start the game, but these tactics should apply no matter what level you're playing at. First things first, you always want to collect your resources because you want to be sure that when they refill, they never meet their cap. So let's begin with defense. The first thing I want you guys to notice is the layout of my wall and turrets. Your base is what you need to protect because whenever your base is attacked, that's what the enemy's going to go for. If they can destroy that, then they complete their mission. It's of utmost importance that you protect your base in case an enemy attacks. With that said, you want to surround it with guns, but you'll notice that each one has a perimeter, and you want to maximize the efficiency of each weapon's perimeter. And you don't want to cluster them too much because you never know which angle they're going to attack from. So you're going to want to spread out each different kind of turret. So for example, here we're looking at a mortar, and mortars take out the non-vehicle units. And I have one at the top and I have one at the bottom. Depending on which angle they attack at, the mortars will target them. They're also really good for taking out clusters of enemies, so I have them on the interior of my defense, so they're harder to get to. Then you're going to want to put up some shields if you're at the stage where you have shields. And the way I've set those up is I've made sure that my base is actually at the center of both shields. So no matter which direction they come through, they'll have to get through 2 different shields if they want to reach my base. And that's really, really important because the guns are going to be shooting them as they try to take down the shields. You see, you just want to put a bunch of obstacles between the enemy and your base. And one additional obstacle you can use to do that is your resource buildings. Enemies will target these buildings because they will gain money and iron and other sorts of resources from them, but ultimately they can't win unless they take out your base. So I actually created another perimeter of resource buildings and structures and vehicles just so that the singular units will have to take those down before they tackle the wall, before they tackle the force field, before they tackle the turrets, before they tackle your base. You see what I'm getting at? Now this isn't always surefire, and you're gonna have to play with the setup a little bit because you're not gonna always have the right amount of resources. And you're not always gonna have the right amount of level to build those resources. So find what works best, but always protect your base. And you're always gonna want at least one of these burst turrets, which I use sort of as a decoy because that kills infantry units. So I put it near, when the enemy is approaching your base, they're gonna see this little spot right here as a gap. So they're gonna see that as a vulnerable area. And that's why I put a TIE fighter trap there, and it'll draw them through there. But in reality, I'm gonna have a burst turret to take out infantry, I have a rocket turret nearby to take out vehicles, and I have multiple regular turrets to take everything out. So it's actually quite, it's a bottleneck right there, so it's quite difficult to get through. But actually, let's get into attacking a little bit. Maybe we can attack an enemy base. So now we're gonna focus on a little bit of offensive technique. Now, my army isn't optimized, but just to give you guys a general idea of how I approach the situation, let's jump into a match. Whenever you're going into a match against a player, it's an actual human player, so they've probably optimized their base too. And this guy looks, and you can decline, by the way. You don't have to fight every single person that you engage with. You can back out too. You have 20 seconds to do so. But this guy is quite heavy duty. He's got look at his walls. He's got double walls set up everywhere. See how he used all of these units over here to protect the outer area? And he's got quite a bit of turrets lined up here. And this is going to be tough, but I'm going to try to approach, the walls take a long time to take down, so I'm going to try to go from the outside here. Those guys take out the turrets, and since it looks like he's only got a line of a couple of turrets right here at first, I'm going to deploy them here. And you don't want to group them too much. And I'm going to deploy them. You don't want to put everybody in the same spot. You want to put them in different areas as much as possible. But you really want to try and take out this turrets. As you can see, I'm already getting in there. It looks like my AT-AT is probably going to take out his main base while those turrets are distracted by the troopers, but it looks like my AT-AT got too distracted by the side bases and didn't go for the right target. But he was smart. He put up a lot of defenses so that it would not allow my AT-AT to focus, and that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you guys to do. What you want is when the units go in for them to all be scattered and distracted so that the right turrets can attack the right units. All right, let's actually build a more specialized army. So the first thing I need to do is I need to build another attack unit to go in. One thing you can do is you can build both units, and when you're in battle, you can choose which one works best. Now, the heavy AT-AT does a ton of damage and has a little bit more armor, but the what is this guy called? He is, well, the missile launching AT-AT. I don't see his name on here. Those guys take out buildings very quickly, but they have very low armor. So rocket launchers take them out in 1 or 2 shots. Fingers crossed, guys, here we go. We're gonna attack a rival. All right, this guy's very clustered up. Looks like he's got a really solid defense. But he's got this rocket on the outside, and I think we can sneak in really effectively if we can break down the rockets, because rockets are one of the biggest problems, because they take down your vehicles, and your vehicles do the most amount of damage. Let's give it a shot. He's got a good base, but we're gonna give it the best we can. Maybe deploy some stormtroopers to take off the attention, then put a heavy, then put 2 dewbacks to take down those walls, then put out this guy, then put out a tank, and then bomb that area. Maybe we can get some solid damage that way. Yeah, see, if we can take out that rocket, then we'll be golden. Let's see if I can, yeah, focus some more troops right there. And now I just want these guys to draw the attention of those mortars there so that they don't attack my main battalion up at the top, which they're still doing anyway. Doesn't always work. You kind of have to hope for the best in some of these cases. When the lasers focus on your heavy vehicles, that's the best, because they're not killing your weak vehicles. And when the mortars aren't attacking your infantry units, they're getting the best of the... Okay, good, we got it. We got that heavy AT-AT taking out the main base. And come on, reload. Boom, look at that. Great, we did it. All you need to do is get 1 star to complete it. The more you get, the better, and it feels better to rub it in their face when you get closer to 100%. Oh, we got 2 stars, nice. You get 1 star for taking out the base, you get 1 star for taking out 50%, and you get a 3rd star for taking out 100%. So overall, 2 out of 3, not bad, we succeeded. Thank you guys for watching that. I hope you guys learned something. In the comments below, let me know what strategy you guys are employing to protect your base or to attack enemy bases. Hit me up on Twitter @LeoZombie and let me know what games you want to see me play next. But I'd also like to see what strategies work for you. And also let me know what other games you'd like to see me play here on Touchables. I would love to hear from you guys. But that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching our show. We'll see you on the next episode of Touchables.